I love your T-shirt.
Oh, thank you. It's one of the Officer Tatum. If you go to the Officer Tatum store, do you ever watch his videos online? Was a police officer for 10 years or so, and him and Candace Owens started that Blexit and stuff. He does a lot of the support the police ones, and this one is white privilege, and it just has like the meaning. It just says a falsehood ideology created to cultivate victimhood.
Yeah, that's about it.
Because really, when I hear of white privilege, all my friends that were white, they all had jobs. Some didn't have jobs. My stepfather was a coal miner. When I lived in America, I did see tons of white people living on the street, so they must have missed out on their privilege. So
something happened. It's funny. You see the amount of people that are affected by poverty, by bad policy, by society leaving them out, and they're overwhelmingly white. I mean, you look at the majority of you go to any Skid Row in any big city, the majority of those down and out people are not black and Hispanic.
No, I think last time I was reading something, one of the poorest and like poverty-stricken areas was down in the Appalachians, where it's generally all white. They were like some of the poorest in the whole of America. So, and people can't get mad anyway because this shirt is done up by Officer Tatum, who happens to be black, so you can't say I'm racist. I just support. I watch all his videos, and I believe in what he's doing for America, and in him and Candace Owen and the rest of them. I like listening to what they have to say and he too. He's not on the side of anyone. He just, like us, talks common sense.
That's the whole thing in a nutshell. It is common sense, and when I look at all of these ridiculous things that are going on in the name of diversity and inclusion and equity and all of these, woke buzzwords that are really are designed to create victims. That's really what they're doing. They're setting out to find a society full of victims. People who have, women who have been disrespected for being women, blacks who have been disrespected for being black, Chicanos, Latinos, Mexicans, Central Americans, Russians. You get people from all over the world who have.
It's almost you can almost see Oprah. You can almost see Oprah sitting there. You've been victimized, and you've been victimized, and you've been victimized. Look what I've got for you: free housing, free money, and not only do you get free housing and free money, you get to do this. It's like, oh, bloody hell!
So it's so funny. You listen to these elite black people who have been rich their whole entire lives, completely entitled, and they're the ones who were talking about the downtrodden black man. I mean, it's retarded.
Exactly. It's either Oprah or LeBron or Beyonce and Jay-Z. How they're saying America's such a systematically racist country, but yet look where they are in the country and look what they've become. Look at the money they have, which brings us to, well, if we're going to talk about America and how racist it is. Now we have that silly, what's her name, Gwen, who turned her back on the flag, the Olympic thrower.
Yes. Here, I have her name. Yeah, Gwen. What was her name? Gwen Berry. Gwen Berry. Yeah.
Turning like she wants to be an activist and all this now, and she turned her back on the American anthem and stuff, which to me is a selfish thing to do because here's a girl that got gold and silver. You're taking away their limelight. The girl that got gold just smashed the Olympic record, but you don't hear about that because we've got to hear about this numbskull turning her back on the anthem, the country that's so racist, that's given the opportunity to compete for the country and giving you what you've got in that country. If it's that racist, then why are you competing for America? How did you actually get there to compete for America if it's so racist? It's like, this whole thing, it's like you look back at the old days when you'd see people like, I think there was like Jesse Owen back in the day, and then there was another one I heard on thing, remember back in the day when I think it was like John Carlos was his name when he put his fist in the air and that, and people thought it was really bad. And I was listening to him on an interview once, and he was talking about when he put his fist in the air, he actually meant it. He should have opened his hand up symbolizing that all the fingers represented everyone, and we're all trying to compete as one and be as one. That's what he really meant by it. But he said some people took it the wrong way. But yeah, Jesse Owen, he was there. He won that was back in Germany, wasn't it, with Hitler?
Yeah.
Back in the day. And he, even when he protested, his protest wasn't about, I'm sure it was to do with a bit of racism, but it was still about the country of America, what a great country it is. Now these people, they're just like turning their backs on America, the country that's given the opportunity to compete for them. Those other people, when they did their activism, they weren't turning their backs on America or the flag or the anthem or anything else. They were trying to be included in that and show what a good country it was. But they're bringing up their point. Sure, there's racism and stuff like that, but now these people are doing it. It's like she wants her Kaepernick type moment. What's she trying to do? Get some money now, like Kaepernick did, and she's shit at whatever. She got food, so she's upset and holding her black activist shirt on. You got the American uniform on, whatever. And if it's that bad, don't go to the Olympic Games. I was reading online. There's that one transgender BMX rider. She's hoping, or he's hoping to get a gold medal. And he actually said this in one of his interviews I read. He wants to get on the podium, so when he's standing on the podium, he can burn the flag. I'm just like... Yeah.
It's insanity. Going back to Gwen Berry for a second, she had the audacity. She had the audacity to think that they were playing the national anthem just to piss her. Yeah, right.
Yeah. She was set up. She said, "I was set up."
She had the audacity to think that they were playing the national anthem on purpose just to piss her off. It was designed to elevate her to such a level that she needed to be, specialized to piss off. And the thing that really gets me about that, Lee, is that what you mentioned a second ago, she's playing for the American team. And if you want to compare it to Jesse Owens was representing America in the Olympics. Gwen Berry is representing Gwen Berry, and it's not America. So if you don't want to represent America, if you want to wear the American uniform and play in the Olympic Games, and you don't want to respect America and its flag, then go find your African roots and find that flag and go run for them. Go throw the hammer for some country in Africa and bump up the Africa that doesn't give a shit about it.
Or go throw it in your backyard. Go do it down the local park.
Right.
If you want to throw the hammer, but like you said, when you're on a team, it's not about you. You're there representing America as a team. Right. You're there for the American team. It's not about you, but she made it all about her. And like I said, the girl that got the gold there smashed the world record, but no one hears about that because she's putting on a little and look, I don't know what was going on there. When I first saw it, before I even read the headlines, I thought, oh shit, another transgender's got upset about something because I don't know what was. She should have went into weightlifting to hold up those eyebrows on her face and shit like that. She's a pretty strong woman because that makeup she had going on, she looked like a clown. She looked
I was wondering if someone was going to bring that up. Those eyelashes were like the ones you stick on the car. You ever see the cars?
And she had like all this shiny stuff here. And she had the big red lipstick with a black line down the middle of her lips. She looked like a clown. Actually, I think what's his name? Officer Tatum's going to do a section on her soon, going live with it because he's got a picture of her face right on the screen. I went, Jesus.
Oh, I know.
Even front.
But go to that BMX rider. They can spout off these retarded ideas that they're gonna they're pissing me off by playing the national anthem, or I'm gonna win a gold medal and go up and burn the flag on the podium. That's because America offers you such freedom. But I would think that by the same token, I want to say to the BMX rider, if you do win a gold medal, I'm going to have an MMA fighter meet you on the podium, beat the shit out of you. How about that?
Or a couple of Navy SEALs that have gone and fought for his freedom to be there, who have fought under that flag in other countries, risking their lives so this dickhead can be there. Have a few of those top Navy SEALs waiting for him out back when he comes down with his fucking BMX bike.
Well, I mean, it's fair, right? If you think you have the freedom to burn the flag on the podium after you win a gold medal, then anybody who fought and risked their lives for that flag should be able to beat the shit out of you on the podium. What's fair is fair, right?
I think it should be a crime. If you burn the American flag on American soil or anywhere, well, if you're an American and you burn it, you should be put in jail. It's simple as that. It's like I used to go to NASCAR events and everywhere else, and those people, remember the parachuters come down. if the flag on their leg, they'd grab that flag so quick because I think, isn't it like the flag's not meant to touch the ground? And
Right.
I see these people who are just parachuters respect the flag that much that they scramble as soon as they land to grab that flag so it doesn't touch the ground or anything. And now you have these idiots who want to burn it, tear it up, and stomp all over it, but yet they're in the country. Imagine if you competed for Russia or China or someone, and you get up there and burn that flag. Bye. We'll never see you again.
Oh, you're gone. Are you kidding me? You do that in Russia or China or North Korea, or forget about it. You're gone. That's what these people have no concept of what people give up for freedom, or what it means to fight for freedom, or what it even means that you're allowed to live here and do these kinds of ridiculous things without reprisal. And I think it's like when Madonna said, I think about blowing up the White House very often. Right? I mean, who's thought of blowing up her house? So if you say that, then you're going to have cops and FBI all over you because you made a threatening statement to a celebrity, right? But
I even thought threatening to blow up a White House. I'm sure if it wasn't Trump in there at the time, it was somebody else. If you went online and said, I'm going to blow up the White House, you'd have FBI at your door in a couple of hours. If less than that, they'd be knocking on your door saying, "Excuse me, Mr. Romano, come with us." It's like, You just threaten the presidency in the White House here, threatening to blow it up. You'd be gone in an instant.
Yeah. Now, when we were kids, we used to play a game called we used to have a day called Opposite Day when we were little kids, and everything was opposite. It was, if you're hungry, you were full. If you're full, you were hungry. If you're thirsty, you know what I mean. So but that's it's almost how we're living right now. We're living in opposite land. It's like everything's backwards. This weightlifter from New Zealand, Laurel Hubbard.
Yeah.
Okay, Laurel Hubbard was. This is. We're obviously our theme is the Olympics tonight because there's so much going on.
We just started.
We're just starting. So the thing with Laurel Hubbard, it's almost like old news by now. But the thing that what's interesting is that Shelby Houlihan is the runner, the record holder in the 1,500 and the 5,000 meters that was just recently given a 4-year suspension for testing positive for nandrolone that she contends was in the pork burrito that she got from Chipotle, which it's entirely possible. Pigs do produce nandrolone, and the amount that was found in her system was incredibly small. The parallel I'm making here while I bring her up talking about Laurel Hubbard is that when you describe the U.S. the International Olympic Committee defines male and female one way: testosterone level, not genitalia, not anything else, chromosomes. No, it's testosterone level. So, but they trick you with the amounts. Okay, so if you take the amount of nandrolone that Shelby Houlihan was the amount of nandrolone that was found in her blood or urine that caused her to fail the test was 200 times less than the amount of testosterone that Laurel Hubbard had to maintain at the maximum for 1 year. And she got injured. Laurel Hubbard did ruptured a tendon or something in her shoulder, and she retired. Okay, she's 43 years old. So she could have had a year without, submitting to a drug test that she could have let her balls work or have taken exogenous testosterone or whatever. And then 6 months into that decided, well, she's going to come back. And she didn't have to be clean for a year. She could have probably been clean for, or her levels not suppressed for 6 months. But do you know what the level is? If you do the math, it's 288.
That's still pretty high.
That's very high. That's 80. That's 80. What's the? I don't know how.
I'm sure there's bodybuilders out there right now with lower than that.
Oh, if I wasn't on replacement, mine was 64 before.
You can go to the Olympics and compete in the women's weight.
I could be a woman in the Olympics. I am as far as the Olympics go. Without HRT, I'm a woman. Okay,
Johnny's woman.
I am a woman. I am a woman. Hear me roar. Exactly. So the point I'm making is that the upper level on a woman is natural woman is about 78. That's about the the high line of now in a man, it's 300. It's 300 to about 1100. So at below 300, a doctor will write a guy a script for test replacement. So Laurel Hubbard is at 288 is her maximum. That's the minimum for a guy. Okay, the maximum for a girl is 78. So Houlihan fails a drug test, a 4-year suspension, one of the best, a real woman. Okay. For I think it was 10 nanograms per deciliter, tiny minuscule amount, and Laurel Hubbard can compete as a woman with a testosterone level 200 times higher than Shelby Houlihan's.
That's crazy. Like I said, I got nothing against people if they want to be transgender, but they really need their own section. It's like we can get into it in a second, but in Thailand they actually have transgender beauty pageants and stuff like that. It's like if they have your own league to do that, but there wouldn't be enough people. And it's like I said before, I don't care if they do it, but I feel sorry for the women, the true women athletes who have trained their whole life from a little girl who's maybe wanted to go get a gold medal and who sadly might get beat or will get beat and get the silver. And this could be her only chance in her lifetime to win a gold. And she would have got gold if this man wasn't there pretending to be a woman. Because even when you look at him, he puts no effort into looking like a woman. I look more feminine now than what he does. I mean, like, put a wig on or something, but he doesn't even put on a little bit of fucking rouge and lipstick, but he doesn't even try. It just looks like a guy standing up there competing into women.
Yeah. And the thing is, as a male lifter, he wasn't even average. He was just not even good. Okay, but as a woman, he's the best in the world in going to the Olympics. Now,
well, that's why I sort of brought that up there for a second, because I sent you that thing this morning real quickly about that woman from I got it written down there, Cataluna Enriquez, the man who became transgender and beat 21 beautiful women for the Miss Nevada title. That's like, again, you've had these girls who have probably all their life gone through beauty pageants, gone through this. Their dream is to win the Miss Nevada so they can maybe get to the Miss Universe, and they get beat by a man done as transgender. And like I said, they've got transgender Miss America, and I know they've got all different things. So why not do that? Why stop real women? And I don't understand whether it be beauty pageants or the sporting. Why aren't more women coming out and standing up for their rights? Because they want equal rights, but men going into, like I said, that Hubbard, she's squashed so many world records that women have held. Imagine if you're a mother and you got kids and you're like, this is my mum. She's had the world weightlifting record or the world record in sprinting, whatever, for 10 years, 15 years, and now you don't have it. Oh, who'd you get beat by? What woman beat you? Oh, transgender male beat me. Mm-hmm. It's like being beat by another woman. That's fine. You can handle that. But when a man comes in and smashes your record and his record now is accepted over yours, that's ridiculous.
Okay, I want you to comment on this. On another podcast, Mind Pump, I was asked about this topic, and my position is a lot like yours. If you suck so bad at a sport that you can't get even in the middle of the pack, that you decide that you're going to compete against women so that you can dominate, that's atrocious. But I was sort of criticized for not being compassionate to the underlying dysmorphia that's causing this guy to feel like a girl. My position, no, I'm not.
I don't hear you saying anything about his position to be a girl. All you're talking about is the fairness in the sports. If he wants to be a girl, go ahead, good for you, be a girl, right. Feel happy, do whatever. But as a transgender person, you should know deep in your heart too, physically, you're not a woman, so you shouldn't be competing with women. But if you just want to live your life and be happy doing that, go right ahead. Do what you want to do. But when it comes to the competing side, you shouldn't be doing that. It's just.
Well, I mean, you've got to decide where the impetus is. What's the motivation? What is the motivation for you to do this? Okay, and just because the motivation can't be the sport. Okay. And I believe a lot of times it is. I think a lot of this is phony bullshit for athletes who can't hack it with their own gender, that they decide that they can identify as another gender and pick up a bunch of gold medals and a bunch of accolades. I'm being told that I'm being insensitive for thinking that way, and that it's the other way around. It's their trials at life that are so debilitating that they can't live in their own skin anymore, that they have to get out of it. And I agree, and I think that's okay. If that's the way you are, fine. That doesn't mean you get to abrogate women's sports. That means you're going to have to say, there's consolation for this. This is an affliction I have. It's like if you were born with one leg, you'd have to get around in the world with one leg. You were born in a man's body. You were born in a woman's body. You're going to have to get around with that, which means you're going to have to cancel certain things like competing in sports against real women.
Well, they're saying you're not seeing her side of it. What about seeing the real women who have to compete against a man? What about seeing their side? Like I said, like me, I trained from the age of 13 winner shows all the way to now. Imagine if I was a female in some sport, like some of those gymnasts where you train from the age of 4 all the way. And like I said, the Olympic Games come around every 4 years. So you've only got an opportunity every 4 years to win a gold. So this time in between each time, you're maybe going to get 2 or 3 shots at the Olympic gold medal if you're still young. And imagine actually finally getting there, thinking this is my year, and you suddenly get silver to a man when if he wasn't there, you would have got gold. And the next 4 years, you don't qualify again for the Olympics. That's done. Your one shot's gone, and a man took that gold. That's not fair to any woman.
You know when this is going to turn around? You know when we're going to see somebody stand up for this? It's never going to be the women. It's going to be when a woman infiltrates a man's domain and beats him and takes a record away from a man, or a title away from a man, or a contract or an endorsement deal away from a man. When a woman takes that away from a man by identifying cross-gender, then you're going to see changes. But as long as the women are getting fucked right now, you're not going to see anything.
No, it's so sad, though. So sad. But I must say, watching over the news channels last week in America, what a week that was, I must say.
It was quite a week, wasn't it, Lee? Where do we even start?
Kamala finally got to the border. Go Kamala Harris. Good on you.
Well, she's been to the border,
that's what I mean. That's right. But she's finally gone there as vice president, and she went to the safe place, El Paso. It's like I was looking at the numbers where El Paso had like 52,000 illegal crossings this year compared to McAllen, Texas, which was around 240,000 and stuff like that. And that's where the people are in their cages, so they say, and stuff like that. So she went to a little safe haven, and I was watching the interview with I wrote his name down there, Henry Guerrero or something. Henry Guerrero. He's the Democrat representative from down that way, and he was even trying to get her down there because he was so sick of her not coming down. Isn't it funny? Slowly, I've noticed there have been a few Democrats who are starting to turn on all this stupidity. It's like slowly, there's a couple coming out that have just had enough.
Maybe that's an indication of things to come. But who was the dingbat mayor of that town there, that called the woman that called it, welcomed her to Ellis Island, the new Ellis?
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah, the new Ellis Island.
My grandparents came to America through Ellis Island. Okay. And, I have a whole record of their history of their immigration and the forms, and I dug all that shit up. And it was a tremendous thing to be from post-war Europe and make the voyage by ship, across the ocean to Ellis Island under the Statue of Liberty, and you pull into Ellis Island right into next door, and you get processed. And you initiate the process to become American. You did the same thing. You came to America, Australia. You became American. You followed.
It took me 7 years it took to get my green card. Yes.
Now, how do you feel having gone through that? Like my grandparents did the same way through Ellis Island. Okay. And now you've got throngs of people, hundreds of thousands of people cutting the line, sneaking in through the bathroom window. The vice president's down there. The president's, saying, yeah, come on. They're wearing T-shirts. Let me in, Joe.
I've had people abuse me all week because I mentioned this. And they're like, how dare you, Lee? These people are coming for a better life. And look, I got nothing against refugees coming to Australia anyway for a better life. Just come through the proper channels. That's all I'm saying. Because you've got so many people coming across. I think, like I said, it's almost up to over 1 million this year alone
Yeah.
for all the border crossings in America. And sure, I'm granted some of them are coming for a better life, some coming to work, but yet how many of them are criminals? How many of them are murderers? How many of them are gang members and stuff like that? You don't know. And I simply say to those people, if you just want everyone to come across without background checks, without knowing where they come from and stuff like that, I said, tonight when you go to bed and you go to sleep in LA or anywhere, go to sleep with your family upstairs, leave your front door open. I said, leave your front door open. I said, there's a lot of homeless people out there. A lot of them are good. A lot of them just want a sandwich. A lot of them might just want to shower, watch TV. But just let your door open and just let these people come into your house during the night. Maybe one's a killer, maybe one's whatever, but that shouldn't matter. If you just want everyone to come in and come across, just do that. Leave your front door open for all those poor people that might need a better life and somewhere to sleep at night. See if that works. But no, don't. We're not doing that. It's like, yeah, it's just like come to proper channels. I've got no problem with anyone doing it, but it's like you just can't. No other country could you do that.
No.
Say I don't like Australia. I'd be like, I'm shit with Australia. I can't just take off. Like I said, I came to America for sporting and that, but I had to go through the proper channels. But I couldn't go like, you know what, Hawaii is a great place, beautiful beaches. I'm just going to shoot over to Hawaii and sneak on in and just live there because I find it's a better place and I find it better than Australia, and I'm just going to go stay over there. That couldn't happen to me or anyone else. So it's just crazy. But if you say anything about it, you're considered racist. I'm not being racist. It's common sense. It's like, try to do that in, like you said, any other country, Russia, China, North and South Korea, you'd get shot trying to get across the border.
You either get shot leaving or coming in. You're not going to get too far. I want to know where this ideology came from that America's borders are irrelevant. That if you want to, that these Democrats and liberal thinking people have decided that America needs no border. You should just be able to walk in here and do whatever you want to whoever you want, whenever you want, however you want. And really, when you have no border, you have no country. So exactly. I want to know how these people justify walking across the border, which is ostensibly sneaking into the country, versus the legal way of doing it. Why are they okay with the illegal way and don't promote the legal way in favor of the illegal way? We have open arms for everybody, but you got to come into the door.
That's what I think. Yeah, look, and the sad thing is too, look how many children they were showing. Like she had some of those sheriffs on the border down there getting those child like sex rings. Some of the children were being raped and all this sort of stuff, and the trafficking and stuff like that. And it's just crazy. Like you said, why can't they come the proper way? Because then someone said to me once, well, they might get denied. I said, well, if they get denied, that's life. I said, some of these people, like we have people come here to Australia. A lot of them come here from different countries, like over war-torn places. And a few of them have come in saying, we're scared for our life. We want refugee status. We can't go home and this and that. But over the last few years, the government's gone through their statuses where they said they couldn't go home. Tons of them have left to go back for weddings, funerals. They're going back just for holidays, but yet their premise to come to Australia and stay here as a refugee was if they went back home, they'd be killed. And a lot of them now have gone back 3 or 4 times and for weddings and stuff like that. So I'm like, they do the same thing. We had a lot of boat people coming in. They stopped the boats. They're turning the boats around because smugglers were bringing people on boats, and sadly some of the boats were sinking and women and children were dying. But there's funny photos. If you ever look online, just look up refugees on boats coming to Australia. A lot of them are just young, strapping men who are muscular like me, all with their cell phones and coming on. These aren't true refugees. These are more like economic refugees who are just coming over here because they interviewed some of them. Said, why do you come to Australia when where you're coming from, you pass all these other countries that accept refugees? Why Australia? And some are like, well, I have family here and Australia's a pushover. We get good benefits here and stuff like that. So it's just ridiculous. And then Australian people, there's a big uproar even now because a lot of Australian people get pushed to the back of the list who are actual Australians who are waiting for public housing and stuff like that. They get pushed to the back of the list because these refugees get pushed into some of the homes first. So it's just ridiculous. Now we've got families that have been on, there's refugee families that have been on, because Australia has a pretty good payment system from the government here. You get the medical, you get, if you're not working, you get, some people I know get around 700 a fortnight for not even working and stuff like that. So yeah, we've got a pretty good system here, but like I said, at the expense of the taxpayers. But these people know it now, and they know how to milk the system. So they're just coming over for all the benefits. They don't want to come over here and assimilate and be part of the thing. They just come over and get their little enclaves and start trouble, a lot of them. So it's crazy. It's like, I'm all for people. If you want to come to a country, whether it's Australia or America, and you want to come there and be part of that country and get a job and better that country and be productive in that country, I'm like, you, welcome, come on in. Like, you know, come on in. But if you want to come to that country and cause troubles, try and start crime and this sort of shit and do whatever, no, I don't want you to come here. As simple as that. You're not welcome. It's, I don't know, but when you say that, it's like, oh, Lee, that's being racist. It's like, how's it being racist? It's like you said, your ancestors, your relatives came over and they were happy to get to America. They wanted to come there, the American dream, get a job and make America what it is today. But now, sadly, people just want to come over there and milk the system for all it's worth, and that's just crazy.
Now, do you have that? Do you have that issue in Australia? Do you have illegal immigrants coming in and trying to sneak in?
Well, slowly they come up from the top end. Though they come in boats, come across in boats through different countries. A lot of them come from like the war, like over even Afghanistan way and all those areas. They walk across different countries until they get to, like they said, they'll pass like 8 different countries that take refugees. But Australia's the place to be because of our system, where the free money, this and that. Even when they're in detention centres, people here, we have these activists, you're keeping them in there like in concentration camps and that. We have one called Christmas Island and these other things. Sure, then it's not a 5-star hotel, but you've got these little like rooms, like it's like a bungalow. So you got your own kitchen, your own bedroom and stuff like that. You know, little portable homes type thing, little portable demountable buildings, and they all live in there until we find out who they are. And I think about why they're in there. They get free food, they get taken on day trips, they get computers, they get phones. So it's like, listen, I understand you've come from a shit place to here, but now they complain about living there. Not long ago, some of them started burning one of the places down. I would have fucking let you stay in there. You burn it down, because it's like, if I'm a mother or a father and I'm coming from a war-torn country, every day I'm in that war-torn country, I'm in fear that I'm going to get killed or shot or bombed. And if I can finally get out of that country and get to Australia, but I'm put in this like island where it's a camp, but yet while I'm there, I'm getting food, housing, me and my child are safe. What the fuck am I going to complain about? You and your child are safe. Now you just got to wait there till the process is done. And if you're seen legit, you can come into the country. But if they're waiting 2 or 3 months, this is barbaric. We shouldn't be kept here like animals in cages again and stuff like that. I'm thinking, it's like a little holiday island. What is complaining? And then the activists get on there. And once they get on there, they make it sound like the same as in America. They're in cages. It's unhumane. It's this. So I'm thinking, they're getting on bus trips and going out on trips and get stuff like that. And I'm going to go there for a holiday. I'm going to stay in one of them.
Now, do you have the same issue with, people coming in and, they're coming in ostensibly to, better them, get a better life or and they're running into, they're getting a better life because they're getting all this free stuff handed out to them. Now, do you have a political party that's supporting that? Like we have the Democrats supporting that, so they can get. What they're basically doing is inviting all of this easiness for these people to become attractive to come over here, so they can eventually turn them into voting Democrats.
Yeah. Well, we have the Greens and the Independents. We have Labor and Liberal. Labor's meant to be for the working person. Liberal's meant to be more whatever. But then it's like, but we have the Greens, and the Greens are the ones that normally jump on board. The Green centers, they just come up with, like, they're all into the climate change, this and that, and they're into the refugees. They're like the weird fucking wacko party. If you hear anything wacko, like pretty much the stuff the Democrats say there, you got to equate that to the Green Party here, where it's just like makes no sense at all. It's just they just rubbish shit out, and you're like, did you even think about that before you said it? Have you actually sat down and thought where that would go if we let that happen? It's just like ridiculous.
Well, Kamala Harris did go to the border. She spent, I think, 6 hours there in El Paso, most of it in the airport.
Yeah.
But she did go to the border. She gets to say that now. She's been to the border.
And I think it's like some people said, the only reason she did that was Trump announced he was going this week, because she wasn't going. She had no time to go or anything else. But as soon as Trump said, I'm going down there with some other people, I'm going to the border tomorrow.
Yep. So,
but
yeah,
what
but I
I
mean,
have noticed,
but what did she do? She pretty much denied that their administration had anything to do with anything, blamed the previous administration, and talked about root causes and bullshit that had nothing whatsoever to do with the issue. What's really embarrassing is that the rest of the world, the other countries in the world, the powerful countries in the world, are looking at us from a point of how weak we are, how weak we have internal strife right now that is making the country weak. The more debt we rack up, the weaker we are. The more lunatics that we give credence to, the weaker we are. The more accepting we are of things that are so far afield that they can destroy the economy, the weaker we look. And you can't have like Biden talking about things like, this was great. Maybe you heard this. He's saying that.
What do you mean I'm going to do this? You know, of course, I wrote the bill. that was a classic of all time.
And I got him $6.9 billion, trillion.
Give him more money.
Right.
Give him more money. Pay him more.
Beyond the creepy whispering, okay, he not only did he show what a weirdo creepo he is by the whispering, but he also solidified the fact that he is a devout racist. And he said this, I want you to comment on this. He said the reason why he's talking about the paucity of people getting vaccinated in the Black and the Latino communities. And he said
the Tuskegee Airmen.
The Tuskegee Airmen. Well, the reason he said is because black people don't want to get the vaccine because they're used to getting experimented on, and they have memories. They don't forget, like the Tuskegee Airmen. So everything about that statement is wrong. Okay. First of all, the Tuskegee Airmen were never experimented on. They were the Tuskegee syphilis experiment where black people were, horribly treated and experimented on. It was a syphilis experiment. It was way over here. It had nothing whatsoever to do with the Tuskegee Airmen, who were I can't even insanity.
I actually met one of the Tuskegee Airmen, Doc, who sadly passed away.
Oh, really? You met him?
He was doing my documentary. Yeah, I forget his name. I'll send you a photo. He was one of the oldest survivors of him. So really, really nice guy. Yeah. So yeah, two separate things, but Biden gets them.
But the Tuskegee Airmen was a really cool story that Biden shit all over with his stupid comment. But his other idiotic comment, the part B of that, was that the Latinos don't want to get vaccinated because they're afraid they're going to get deported.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's 11% of America's Latino, and most of them are citizens. So I don't think they're worried about getting deported. And who the fuck is getting deported anyway? They don't deport anybody anymore. So
did you actually see that bill that Trump did that time where they sent them back? They're actually reversing that bill, and the ones that Trump sent back, they're going to bring back into America.
They're going to go get them. They're going to go get them and bring them back.
Oh, crazy. It's like, and then I saw the the Democrats. I saw a couple of them come out today, and they're blaming the Republicans for defunding the police.
Right. Yeah.
It's like every time I saw Trump talk, he was all about military and that, and for the forces and the police and having strong law and order and stuff like that. But now it's there was a bill we wanted to pass back last year, and the Republicans wouldn't sign it, and it would have given money to the cities. So they're the ones who defunded the police, not us.
Yeah, but they don't tell you what else was in the bill, which is the problem. So all the other line items that have nothing whatsoever to do with the instant matter. But it's
I want to give the Democrats a clap, because I actually wrote down, since the year crime rate's up. Chicago,
good job,
is
good
the winner.
job. Yep.
Homicide 30%, shootings 40%. New York 16 on the murders and 50 on the shootings.
Yeah.
LA's 36, and Baltimore, you're a good place. You've had 57 dead in 50 days. Good on you, Baltimore. And then just today, I heard on the thing before I come in here, Chicago last weekend, Chicago. It's hard to beat that fucking Beetlejuice mayor you got in fucking Chicago.
Oh my God. Do you
the
know
one that only gives interviews to black and brown people, by the way, so.
it is safer for you to take a stroll down any street in Afghanistan than it is to take a stroll down the street in some of the nicest neighborhoods in Chicago.
Well, right? Chicago last weekend, 74 shot, 6 dead. New York on the weekend, there was 23 shot, 2 dead. And then actually more people have died from gunshots than COVID over the weekend. 0 COVID. And since the beginning of the year, this is the sad thing here, and most of them are African American or Black American, because some don't like being called African American because they say they're Black American, which I think they should be. I'm not for this whole Asian American, African American. If you're born in America, you are an American. I don't care what color your skin is. I don't go, I'm Irish, Scottish, Australian, whatnot. If I'm born here, I'm Australian. I'm not going through the family DNA tree here, because most black people in America, their parents were born in America. Their grandparents were born in America. Right. You're an American. Yeah, but sadly, under the age of 15, 52 children have been murdered in the United States. So, but you don't hear about them and stuff like that. So it's just this gun crime. And then now Biden's on about guns again. When will people learn guns don't kill people? I could put a loaded gun here on the table with a hair trigger. If no one touches it, that gun's not going to shoot anybody, is it? It's the idiots that those two that got shot, they're protesting about. There was one guy that just got shot by the police and somebody else. It's like they were let out under this new released criminal program, whatever it is. So these people like OAC, whatever her name is, Cortez and that, who are all for, black people not being shot by the police. If you had left them in jail, guess what? They'd be alive today, because they wouldn't have got out of jail, got a gun. They wouldn't have got out of jail, got another gun, committed a crime, and get shot by the police. That's ridiculous. It's like, I feel so like you're going to have bad people in all walks of life, whether it be police force, just the guy that runs a corner store. You're going to have assholes everywhere. But like you said last week, the amount of interactions that the police and the public have every day, every month, every year, is a minuscule, but yet the media gets a hold of one story, and you'd swear it was like the bloody SS Nazis in Germany have come back to take over America. It's one little story. It's like, report on the good things. I love when I see those stories of there'll be a police officer somewhere and he's helping a little black kid or white child in a store, buying him something to eat or giving him a lift or playing with him in the street. I've seen those ones where a kid would be dancing, the police officer come along and start dancing with him. Why can't they show more of that? Those good interactions. But the media has to play this thing to beat down that police are bad, stay away from the police. And sadly now, because you have a lot of young kids having kids, their whole thing is the police are out to get us. That's what they teach their young kid at a young age. So, so this young kid growing up is, the police are going to come and get me. Or, like I saw the other day on the news, this woman was beating up another woman. And as she's beating up, the police come. The police are trying to get her. Or in the meantime, she's got a 4-year-old kid there standing there holding his teddy bear, watching mum beat up this other woman. Then the police trying to drag him off. This look, I'm thinking, I feel so sorry for this young child having to witness all this, because that's what he's witnessing, his mother beating up another woman. Now the police are trying to get her. Now these are these bad police. Look, they're hurting my mum, touching my mum. So it's like, it's just sad. It's just more like the culture they get brought up in now and shit like that. No wonder they sort of have that hate for the police and stuff. They're just, I don't know, it's just crazy.
Well, but they're being lied to is the problem. Imagine this. Every hour, 2,000 airplanes land in America, take off and land in America, and no one says a word about it. One of them crashes, though. Oh, man, that's going to be all over the freaking news. It doesn't matter how many of them landed safely. You're going to hear about that one fucking plane that crashed, right? So it's the same thing with the cops. You interact with the cops all day, every day, hundreds of millions of times. Everything's fine. Never hear a word about that. But that one time you don't have perfection, you that's all you're going to hear about.
And I'm sorry, I used to go on ride-alongs with the LAPD, the Sheriff's Department. And trust me, the amount of times, like I said, they'd pull people over or do whatever, I'd say 98% of the time there was never a problem. They'd comply, do whatever. The one times they don't comply, that's where the problems start. They want to argue with the police. They want to fight the police. You'll pull them over. Like I said before, we pulled over this one guy, ran his plate, was unregistered. As soon as he gets up and gets out the car, cause I'm black, cause I'm this. It's like, and my friend that was with me, who I went on the ride along with, he's like, sir, your car has got that limo tint on. I can't see who's driving the car. It's blacked out windows. It's nighttime. I pulled you over because of your plate is out of registration. It has nothing to do with colour or race and stuff, but yet they just want to do this, be confrontational. Look, even if you hate the police, just be respectful. Half the time, it could be a minor stop. It could be just for like a registration, or your tail lights out, or you did something wrong. And generally, if they just want to see your ID, if you comply, show your ID. Okay, have a good day. You're on your way. But it happens here too. We get idiots here too that want to start this whole big thing, and next thing you know, you're resisting arrest. You fight with a police officer. So a minor traffic stop that might have taken 5 minutes, now you're going to jail. So it's just ridiculous. You just got to.
It's if the shoe fits, you got to wear it. I did the same thing. I went on ride-alongs. I've done it in Chicago and I've done it in New York. And it was several years ago. I went on a ride-along in New York, and were practicing something which they certainly can't do anymore, called active aggressive patrol. And these two cops would pull you over if you're driving a car, riding a bicycle, in a cab. They would pull cabs over and start harassing the guy in the back. Let me see your ID. If you have a gun. And one of the guys, it was in a cab actually. The cops pulled the cab over, and they're talking to the passenger. And the passenger said, "You're harassing me because I'm black." And the cop, who's black, says, "No, I'm investigating the fact that there's an 86% chance that if you're out on the street at this hour of the night, you're a fucking criminal." And so, and sure enough, the guy had a bag of crack on him, and they arrested him.
And that's what I love when they play that. You're pulling me over because I'm black.
Right.
When it's a black officer pulling them over. It's like, no.
I mean,
it's like color has nothing to do with it.
You're in the fucking Bronx. You're in the Bronx, out on the street at 2:00 in the morning. What are you doing? Okay.
Well, that's why you get on the news there. We get it here. We had the news here the other day. There was some young kid. He was stabbed in a car park at a fast food restaurant, 2 a.m. That's something else. Every time there's something bad happening, you can guarantee it's between 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. And then it's like 2. And they're teenagers or they're 12, thinking, what are young kids doing out at this time of night to begin with? And where are their parents? Sadly, like I said, it's all stemming from the home. The government wants to say, we need this, we need that. Then these people say, police need reform. Then you ask them, how do they need reform? How do they need training? The police don't need more training and stuff. They're trained properly, but you might get a bad apple who thinks he's got more power than he has. But it's the fucking people and the citizens of America and Australia who need training and need to learn respect and need reform. Us people who think that we're privileged to do what we want, say what we want. I can do this and do that. I know my rights. Screw you. It's like, no, it's like you don't. So it's like if a police ask you a question, do it. Like I said, I was a young kid. I was like, I used to break into places and do shit, do whatever. Would be fucking around doing shit in the cars. As soon as we saw a cop coming, psst, cop coming. He'd walk past. How you go? He'd be like, how you going, kids? Good, sir. No, yes, sir. No, not do any trouble? No, sir. As soon as he left, back to fucking doing what we're doing. But when you saw him, you respected him, because back then here in Australia, they could give you a kick up the ass and take you home to your parents, and that was it. The parents will get you and fucking give you a fucking beat as well.
When I was a kid, when I was a kid in New York City, cops used to smack us around all the time. It was normal for the cops to give you a beating. Because we deserved it. I mean, we either mouthed off to them, gave them the wrong name when they asked for what our name was. Because, look, you run the streets, the same streets, day after day after day. The same cops know you. They remember you. They get to know you, and they know you if what you're doing and what you're up to. So you can't hide. If they would toss us a beating and then take us home, and our parents would toss us.
I got this image in my head: the cop driving down the street, pulling up slow, putting the window down. Hey, Romano, come here. There's a broken window down the block, Romano. Were you down there? No.
That was totally normal. That happened. Our crew was notorious breaking shit, ruining shit, and they would come and ask us. They would come to our house,
But when we said too, where it stems at home and stuff, I was watching. There's another thing I wanted to bring up. I was watching. They have police go to schools and that type of thing. I forget what they're called. They got like some initial where the police will be at the school, like a safety officer or something like that. This one woman was on TV with her police chief in the city, because in the school or whatever she was teaching the people, she was teaching about supporting the thin blue line, like the shirts I wear. She was talking about respecting the police, and the principal actually said that was being racist and stuff like that, caught up a police chief and wanted her fired and removed. So I think they removed her from doing the stuff at the school, but he said, I'm not kicking her off the force. She's been on the force for 20 odd years. She's a wonderful person. She's a wonderful police officer. Yeah, but this whole thing now that even supporting the thin blue line or supporting police, when I wore that shirt the other day, when I put online, cops over criminals, you would not believe the DMs I got. Fuck you, I'm going to unfollow you. You're supporting the cops, those criminals, those this. I'm thinking, if you hate the police that much, what the hell are you doing? That, like I said, touch wood, I've done a lot of car racing. To this day, I've never even been pulled over for a speeding ticket. I've never, because it's like, but like I said, when I was younger, I might run into police here and there, or I've been stopped where they do random breath tests here where they just pull you over, blow into the thing. If you haven't had any alcohol, okay, on your way. But a lot of the highway patrol and police around here, I know because I see them at McDonald's all the time. I chat to them there. I see them there. And they talk about my training, or they watch me on different podcasts and stuff. So, like I said, they know my car. One of the highway patrol guys I know, keeping good with him. When I had my Maserati, I drove his daughter to the prom and that. So I said, if you just respect them and that, I said, really, police don't have a problem with you unless you've got a problem with them, or they know that you're a troublemaker. So all these people, there's a couple of them that wrote to me, why would you support them? Look at their profile. A lot of them were in motorcycle gangs and stuff. I'm like, well, if you want to be in a motorcycle gang, that's fine. You still don't have to break the law and do shit like that. You just want to be a couple of guys hang out. But nearly everyone is like, if you're getting picked on by the police all the time, you're doing something else. Like, I got mates. I've never been out and got into a fight because I don't go looking for it. I don't go haunching around like, fuck you, what are you looking at? I got mates that go out every weekend, guaranteed every weekend, they're in a fucking fight. I'm like, how do you find this? Well, he did this and he did that, or he done. Like, you must just go looking for shit to start something up, because how can you get into a fight every single time? It's like, that's why these people that have interactions with the police all the time and they're all bad is, I thought the police are just picking on you for no reason, are they? They're just seeing you every day. They're walking down the street. Oh, there he is again. Let's go get him. It's like, come on. It's like,
well, there are cops that have a chip on their shoulder.
Oh yeah, but like I said, they're the bad ones who I don't support and stuff like that.
But you're going to get that. I mean, there's bad plumbers, there's bad lawyers, there's bad doctors, there's bad people everywhere.
I had a teacher that hated me. Every time sometimes I'd walk in the room and sit down, I'd tell a kid beside me a joke and he'd start laughing. Priest, get out. I'm like, what? I didn't even, the class hadn't even started. I spent half my time out in the hallways because the teacher had lit for me because they didn't like me.
and that happens. We're human. We follow human nature. So the whole point is, a lot of these problems that people have with authority, with whatever, they cause them themselves. They are their own worst enemy when it comes to this shit. If they think they have this God-given right to be superior to everybody, and that no cop in the world has the right to ask them for their license or to pull them over or whatever immediately. And you see it on these dash cams all the time. The cop is making a routine stop. They walk up to the window and immediately they're getting attitude. What are you pulling me over? You're pulling me over because I'm black. You're doing it. I mean, right away they just start in on them, and it's like, dude, shut the fuck up. Hand them your license and your registration and insurance, and keep your fucking mouth shut. It's that simple. It's that simple.
Or it's not the driver. I like that. I think one comedy guy did, even Chris Rock did a thing about it with the fucking passenger that goes off when the driver's being polite and the passenger's like, fuck you, copper, fuck you. Like, shut up. I think Chris Rock did a good thing about it if you're black and how to not get put over by the police or whatever. It's like, do as they say. And then it had like the cop kicking the shit out of it. It was a pretty funny skit he did. But yeah, but I think it's this whole thing, the new wave of this whole self-entitlement now. It's like, I'm self-entitled to everything. It's like, it's just everyone gets an award type thing and everyone gets this. No one says no to them anymore. Everyone's like, it's like, that's not the real world, sadly. That's not, your parents can tell you how good you are, give you medals for coming last and shit. But when you get out into the real world and you got to get a job, there are different things. Someone is going to be better than you at a job. Someone is going to be better at this than you. It's like, that's just the way the world. And if you're not as good as them, you work for it. You don't just sit there and go, well, I'm not as good as them. Can I have the same as what they're getting because, you know, I think I deserve it. But that's not how the world goes, sadly.
Well, you know, you get these people who say, I hate the cops. I hate cops. You know, and obviously, okay, you hate cops. Why do you hate cops? Because this, whatever reason, fine. That's your right. You can hate them. Now, what happens when the day comes when you need one? And they'll say something really intelligent like, I'm 37 and I haven't needed one yet. You know, which means you'll be 87 and never have needed a cop in your entire life, which could possibly very well happen. But you know what? I've never been in a car accident, but I've had auto insurance every single year that I've ever driven a car. Do I hate my auto insurance? I'm pretty much indifferent to it, but I'm fucking glad I got it if the day comes I ever need it. You know, I'm not going to walk around and saying, well, I've been driving for 60 years and I haven't gotten into an accident yet. I'm going to go cancel the policy because I clearly don't need it.
Exactly. And the whole thing too, when they go, black cops are racist, white cops are racist. I'm sure if you're in trouble, it won't matter that day when that cop turns up what color he is and when he's coming to help you. Because, like I said, I mentioned it once before. When I lived in America and I had to fill out that box, I used to just write human and tick it because I wasn't going to tick Caucasian. They had African American, Hispanic. They had all the boxes. I'd always go to the bottom, draw a box, write human and tick it. I'd hand my paper in. They go. I'm like, what? I said, to me, it's like, I never understood it because I get called racist because I might make funny things and stuff like that. But like my true friends that know me, no matter what race they are or religion background they are, know I'm not racist because I think you are an asshole or you are a dickhead. If you judge someone on the color of their skin, you're a moron because it's skin color. How does it make anyone different to anybody else or better than anybody else? I don't get that whole thing when people go, well, I don't like them because they're black or black and does this or they're Hispanic or they're Chinese. I'm like, what difference does it make? We're all human. Just because someone has darker skin or someone speaks a different way, or even if someone's a different religion, I'm like, why does that matter? It's like judge someone on the, you know, their character and the quality of the person and shit like that. Not what color skin they are, or if they believe in this or believe in that, or even now in America, even what political party they're in. It's like shit. It's like, what have we come down to? Why can't we just take people for who they are? If they're nice to you, be nice to them. Treat them how you want to be treated. It ain't fucking hard. It's not rocket science, is it? It's just like,
well, apparently it is. Have you seen the trailer?
So complicated now.
Well, it's very complicated. Have you seen the trailer for the movie Karen?
Oh yes, yes. in a weird way, I'm going to watch it because it's like, if you think of every stereotypical thing that you can put in that movie, and it's like even some of those scenes where she's in the restaurant, can you shut up and be quiet? I'm thinking, in all of history, when would a white young little waitress walk up to a black couple in the restaurant and tell them to shut up? It's like, unless your brother's out the front with burning crosses and 20 Klan members, you ain't saying shut up to anyone in a restaurant, whether they're white, black, Hispanic, or anything. But the whole thing, then that little girl, that's our neighbor. She doesn't like you because you're black. Take your garbage in. Your garbage is meant to be taken. I'm like, every single stereotypical. And then they're using the word Karen because you're a Karen. But then did you notice too on the preview? If anyone hasn't seen it, just look up the movie Karen. Yeah. And then it comes back to her brother is this racist cop. It's like, oh, we even had to get the policeman in there. Did you see that? That her brother's this racist cop. I'm like,
they left.
Okay, it's funny to watch, but sadly, movies like that are going to brainwash people, and they're going to be like, see, this is what it's really like. This is what's happening. And sure, yes, people do get pulled over for certain reasons, but like I said, I got pulled over 3 times when I was down near Crenshaw, Normandy, going that way to visit my masseuse, because here I'm a white guy. I didn't have any white privilege, in a nice car. I had a really nice Corvette driving down there. Different times throughout the year, I got stopped 3 times, and each time the police told me, sorry, sir, we're only pulling you over because generally when someone like you is down here in a nice car, you're either selling drugs or buying drugs. So they just did a check, did whatever. Okay, I just told them where I was going. I had my friend's business card, like the masseuse, and that, like, okay, on your way. So even white people get stopped for no reason if we're in the wrong neighborhood. Like,
that is absolutely the truth. But so it looks like Karen, the movie Karen, they've left no stone unturned.
Oh, it's a doozy, that one. Oh.
But you know, isn't it Hollywood itself? I mean, they don't make movies for us anymore. They make movies for them. You know,
they had back in the day. What the equivalent. Well, it wasn't even a racist movie, but we could go back to Sidney Poitier. Guess who's coming to dinner?
Ah, yes.
When the black guy comes to dinner, but it's like, but I just like, yeah, but it's like, even look, I got no problem with homosexuals, trans, whatever, being in movies, but it's like they're pushing the agenda so hard, whether it be in movies, TV shows, commercials. It's like, just let it happen. Don't try and force it down everyone's throat. But now it's like they're going to do. I was watching a thing the other day on something because they're talking about Star Wars and that they're actually going to bring in a transgender Jedi next. I'm like, really? I'm like, a transgender Jedi. I'm thinking, look, I saw Star. Remember Star Wars? Look, that bar scene from Star Wars, there was some really fucked up shit in that. There was already transgenders and aliens, fucking aliens, or whatever was going on in that bar. So it's like, sometimes I walk into gyms now and I say to people, like, this is like the bar from Star Wars. They're like, what do you mean? I said, what, you don't remember the bar from Star Wars? It had like everything fucking in there. But, yeah, they're just pushing it. But it's like, I can watch movies and watch it for a movie. I'm not looking for any political bullshit. I just watched it. When I was young and doing karate, I watched every Bruce Lee movie there was, like Fist of Fury and everything like that. And in those movies, people, nothing but Chinese people. If it was like a Japanese Shogun movie type, nothing but Japanese people. And you know what? I didn't sit there going, Mom, can you turn this off? I can't watch this and I don't feel good because I'm not represented in this movie. I don't see any white people in this movie. There's no white Australians running around doing karate chops. Turn it off. It's like, I don't look for that. It's like, it's a movie about whatever. Just watch it for what it is. It's like when they say they'll do a period piece where there's no black people in this movie. Well, that's because there's probably none there in that time when the Vikings were there and stuff like that. I know people are mad now because they're going to do Anne Boleyn. You remember Anne Boleyn? They got a head cut off, the French, whatever. But the woman playing her is going to be a black actress. It's like, look, if someone's a character like Bond or whoever, yes, he's a male. But if you want to make him, look, I think Idris Elba would make a great James Bond. So I've got no problem with making him black, whatever. But when you're going after a true person in history, how can you change their colour? Because you imagine getting Liam Neeson to play Malcolm X. Oh, there'll be uproar. They'll be like, oh, you can't go do it. But he's such a good actor. Let Liam Neeson play Malcolm X. It's like
De Niro should play Malcolm X.
have Mark Wahlberg play Floyd Mayweather if you do his story. It's like, it's just crazy. It's like, but they're really pushing this whole, we've got to have, and now I heard to be nominated for Academy Award, you got to have so many different people, whether it be transgender, gay, African American, you got to have all these people to be even nominated now. I'm like, why can't we just get a movie for being a movie? It's like, whatever. I watched that movie, Cats and Dogs, and you know what? I was upset because there was no snakes in it. I like snakes. Why was there no snakes in this movie? It's like we can't put everything in every fucking movie. It's like, I was so pissed. I called National Geographic the other night because I was watching, there's a thing called like Fathom, and it was about the blue whale. And like, David Attenborough's doing this blue whale thing. I called up fucking National, hey, take this shit off. It's very bad. Where are the fucking sharks? Do you know that sharks have been in the ocean for this long and sharks are being left out? Why you got no sharks in this? Why only whales? Oh, because it's a program about whales. Okay, not about sharks. Okay. Oh, when you do the oceans of the world, you'll have the sharks and the turtles and everyone in that one. Okay, I'll watch that one then. I'll wait for the I'll wait for the inclusive ocean show. Thank you very much. It's like, but that's what it's like now. People are getting pissed off if they're not represented in a movie. It's a fucking movie. Just watch it for that. And then you had that woman, that TV. Oh, it was a movie called Witches that came out last year.
Yeah.
And what's her name played the witch with 3 fingers, and she actually got boycotted. And people, because there is a condition where people are just born with 3 fingers, and they said because she was playing that 3-finger role, it should have been given to a true person. It's called acting, people. It's called acting. It's like now they're complaining that if someone plays a gay person, they should have had a gay person play the part. It's like, oh Jesus! It's like,
and there's no white people in commercials anymore. So yeah, it's like
a lot of gay people in commercials. Like,
gays, all Asian.
I was at the movies the other day, and there's like a father and his son sitting across from me. I was in like the gold class. They got like the big recliners and they're spaced out. And this commercial comes on. Hello, Mum, Dad. And they're like, yes, son. He said yes, and they turned and kissed, and they heard the little boy saying to his father, "What's that? What's that?" He's like, "Don't worry about it, son. Don't worry about it." Because like because at first you think it's a guy talking about a girl. They accepted. They said yes. They said yes. They said that's wonderful. And then he turns to the guy in the car and kisses him. I heard this little boy saying to his dad, "What did they do?" And he's like, "Don't worry about it."
Oh my
Then
God.
there's another one for a phone company the other day. It's like one of those weird phone company ads. It's just got weird shit, elephants and this, and it's got a girl floating up in the air, and another girl floating up in the air. Next thing, they come together and caress and start kissing as they're spinning around. I'm like, what's that got to do with phones? I'm like, what? I'm like, I can understand if they were selling scissors or something, but you know, phones. I got no idea.
See how these work? Look.
Wow.
Oh.
Well,
But I want to thank everyone, the people that watched last week. John, we're doing something wrong. I don't think there was one bad comment.
well, no, somebody said that I sucked, but that wasn't too bad.
Well, Steve Blackman, don't watch.
So I figured we had to have a couple of.
Well, we had because we mentioned too how when we were on Rich and Dave shut it up on politics, we only had two. We had two thumbs down, and someone goes, "Oh, Rich and Dave gave the thumbs down."
Dave found the show. Yeah. Well,
but I was surprised. That was pretty all positive. So.
Yeah, well, so we've come to the end of this one, and we'll go. I'll get this one up as soon as possible. And we've committed to doing it once a week. So until you guys tell us to stop doing it, we're going to keep doing it. So
and if they have any ideas or subjects or hear things that we haven't heard about that you'd like our opinion, because that's all it is. It's just our opinion. We're not right. We're not wrong. We're trying to think common sense. But even me, I don't think common sense sometimes. I'm a nutcase. I'm an idiot from Australia. So what do I know? But hey. It makes for it's entertainment, people. It's entertainment. Right. That's all we are. We're just like two guys sitting down, shooting the shit like we all do. So we're not saying you're right, we're wrong. It's just whatever.
You guys gotta lighten up.
Yes. Do you know this is only our second show? Second show. Wait till we do some more, okay?
Right.
Yeah. I gotta go sniff some hair and get my hair in the sun. They like touching my hair when it glistens in the sun.
No, my hairy legs in the pool. Yeah, I'm gonna be busy looking for an African American to vaccinate so I can experiment on them.
That's go down to the airport and look for the airmen.
Yeah, look for the Tuskegee Airmen to experiment on.
There's not many left, so you better hurry. They're in their 90s and stuff. So yeah, but, I mean, like the sad thing is that, and again, I feel sorry for him. How he got in there, I do not know. Why they put him in there, I do not know. Because seriously, I like it. I know we're going overtime, but is he going to do a cognitive test, or is that off the cards? They're not doing that.
They'll never let him do it because he won't pass it unless they can figure out some way to make it look like he passed it. But there's never going to be an honest evaluation of the president's mental faculties. It'll never ever happen. Never.
Maybe I just give him one test where I give him a ball and one big circle. He'll go, you're going to stir trouble. But no, like I said, John and I are just having a chat. So if you like the chat, join in. One day we might get guests on. Greg would be a good guest because
Greg would be a good guest. Sure, we could have a guest. Sure,
we'll never get a word in. He'll have his Trump sign up there. And I did see that Trump rally the other day. That was pretty good.
He's not going anywhere.
The Village People song back again, and that was going. Oh, we didn't even talk about the thing, but I did see that thing in was it Georgia or somewhere where some of the voting counts have come back in favor.
Yeah. Well, I figured we'd save that for next week because there's a whole bunch of stuff coming out on that.
We'll save it for next week. But in America, in a week in politics or just in a week in general, oh my God, so much is happening over there day by day. Oh, and did you see? I did get my other vaccine the other day. I'm all done. I got my.
I saw you got that. Now
I got the green tick.
You got it. Now we just have to wait for all your side effects to start happening.
I had side effects long before I took the vaccine, John.
Yeah, how will we know?
Exactly. Imagine if these vaccines make me smart. Oh, Jesus. No one's going to like me.
No one will like you.
On the news today, though, because I I've had the AstraZeneca and the Pfizer. It
Mhm.
just came out today because the last few months, England and Europe have been mixing them, doing one of each.
Mhm.
And the results came out today. Having the Pfizer and AstraZeneca, your antibodies are 9 times greater if having two separate ones. So I've had 2 of each. I must be like, wow.
That you still have that S on your shoulder?
Yes.
There you go.
I don't recommend it for everyone. Just take the one vaccine. Oh, dear.
Oh my God. All right, Larry. We got to go.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Which way do I go? This way? That way?
How do we
This
get
way.
out of here? Where's the door?
Oh, that's right. The hotel fell down in Florida. I got to go talk about that.